and play hard and play Vanderbilt football. And again, that's the challenge. And this is week 6 of an opening 6-game stretch, but our team is excited and energized and ready to go. So I'm excited along with it. I'm happy to answer questions.
Chris?
They won football games the way that you guys kind of did last year. It's controlling, getting a lot of first downs, not turning the ball over. Talk about the challenges that approach presents to you guys.
Well, they have explosive skill, so I want to be careful and not just saying that's we if we're tackling well and we're covering well, then they're gonna be more methodical. If we're not tackling well or not covering well, they can get up and over the top pretty quickly. And if you watch, I mean, they had opportunities against Georgia where they were open down the field and just off for whatever reason. Against Wisconsin, some catch and run plays that were really impressive. And so we have to play in structure. We have to tackle well. We have to cover well. That'll force them to be a little more methodical, which again then becomes how do you get them off schedule and get them off the field, because the risk you run if you're not able to do that is our offense, which we think is pretty good, is standing on the sideline the entire time. Now, we're not going to lose patience. This is how we have played for 2 years now. So we can be patient, and we're going to defend every blade of grass, and we need to do a better job in this game of forcing field goal attempts at the end of long drives, which was something we did against Virginia Tech, where we took on a little water in the first half, but two long field goal drives, it becomes a difference in allowing for a separation in the second half. So to be patient defensively, to be opportunistic when you get them behind the chains, to have the ability to get off the field on third down gives us a chance to possess the ball. And as long as we're covering and tackling and forcing a methodical approach, then the game comes down to who gets the most possessions. We want to create as many as we can for Diego and the offense, and we feel like that would position us to get the result we want.
Graham?
Coach, College Game Day coming to Tuscaloosa, 2 years ago, I don't think anyone would have really thought this was going to happen. Just how special is it for you and the rest of the coaching staff and the team to be on a national stage like this?
It's what's special is the opportunity to go play against Alabama, and we don't control who shows up, who doesn't show up, who pays attention, who doesn't pay attention, but we're gonna be excited about that opportunity. And obviously we understand that it's a great stage, and we understand that there will be a lot of eyes on us, but what we want to do is go play our brand of football, and we know we're gonna take that up against a team that's really good and playing with confidence, and we'll have our work cut out for us, but that's where our focus will be. And for this program to get where we want it to go, we want these things not to become one-offs. We want this to become part of our operating procedure. And this is a great chance, a great kind of first chance to enjoy that spotlight.
Gentry?
Clark, given what happened last year, I'd imagine you probably expect their best shot here. And is there's some respect in that, given that where this program's been and where it's going?
Well, yeah, I mean, I want to honor the question because I appreciate the question. Also, I mean, we talk about 4 opponents each week. There's us, there's the emotions of the game, so the game is an opponent, there's the environment or conditions for the game, and then there's the other team. And one of the things that we always expect is the other team's best shot. And that kind of sets the course for how we prepare. We don't want to put too much energy into thinking about how they're thinking about the game. We just expect them to show up and play their best. And we understand the things that make them good and the things maybe that are weaknesses, and so we try to build a game plan around those things, but ultimately our focus is going to be on us. And so I'm excited to have a team here in the middle of the season that has lined up and played our brand of football for 5 consecutive weeks. I have a ton of respect for our team because it's challenging to be that consistent. This is a mature group, and a group that takes very seriously the mission we're on, and so we can get really excited for a game in a great environment against a great opponent that a lot of people are paying attention to. And outside of that, we're going to expect Alabama to play their best, and we're going to hope to play our best, and that's going to be our focus, and we expect a great game.
Steve?
Clark, a year ago, I'm not sure how many people outside of this room believed that you guys could win a game like this.
To be clear, this room as it sits right now with you guys?
No.
Oh, okay, well, I was loving that for a second. I appreciate you guys, that's great.
To get to this place now where I think the expectation is you can go to Tuscaloosa and win, how much has the program grown in the last year? And is that a fair representation that it is?
We don't expect anyone to see the goodness in what we're doing outside of the people that are in this room day to day. And any level of success is a lag effect of investment. So, I mean, you guys have been around, you know, and you know where we've come from in this, and it hasn't been overnight. I mean, God Almighty, I can't grow hair, but if I could, I promise you, it'd be great at this point. You know, there's been a lot of effort put into this, a lot of learning and growth for me, and as I've been able to learn and grow, the program has been able to learn and grow, and I draw that parallel. You know, I don't hide from that. You know, I think smart people figure stuff out, and it doesn't. You know, I don't judge the fact that we were trying to find our way early on, as we're also trying to resuscitate a program, as we're also trying to motivate a community, as we're also trying to just get the habits and behaviors of the team to align with some sort of result that we're after, and we had a long way to go. So, but there's been a core group of people who have continuously invested, who believed in this before there was external proof or proof in result. And it's that core group that has allowed for this to form through all the adversity and the challenge, while also accepting guys that have come from outside our program in the last 2 seasons to help expedite the process. And I think that's what we've done in the last 2 years. We've sped up a little bit of that growth. And so there's transformation that's happened here. And I go back and I say that transformation is a result of a group of special people that weren't waiting for external signals or results to believe in something, you know. And I mean, you guys live in the world. I mean, I feel grateful because I think most people want to have a cynical view on these things. I mean, it's just human nature to be skeptical. And there were people within our operation that were skeptical, and those people needed to move on. And we sped up growth as we allowed those people to move on, and we accepted in people that saw the goodness in what we were doing and the belief in what we could be. And that's actually what I'm proud of, and that's why I have such a deep respect for what we have created here, because it's been misunderstood outside, but it's been, you know, kind of methodically and consistently built from within. And that's also why I feel like it has a chance to sustain. This isn't overnight. I mean, this has been a long process with a sound foundation, the right people doing the right things the right way. And I'm grateful to have had the chance and the time to grow through the experience, but also to see it through.
Is it true that from that game a year ago, and everything in the last 12 months, is it safe to say that it has gone from belief that we can do this to almost an expectation that we will do this now?
Are you talking internally?
Yeah.
I think that it's safe to say that our confidence has grown as we've experienced the results. You know, I can't be, you know, I'm naive at times, but not naive enough to believe that you can continue to build if you don't experience the breakthrough moments. And this game became important a year ago because that team was 2-2 and had kind of lost a little bit of that early momentum and needed to regain it. You know, we had a heartbreaking loss to Georgia State, heartbreaking loss at Missouri, and then a bye week, and we recharged. And I remember I kept saying last year that, you know, discipline, respect, and spirit. We have to do the right things the right way. We have to play a certain way, and margins are razor thin. You know, that was part of the conversation, and we got into a rhythm of playing that way. And so as we realized the control and the power we had in the competitive moment, we were able to replicate those performances, and we got enough to get to 6 and then 7 in the bowl game. When we turned the page of the calendar and we started talking about those thin margins, we also said, but they don't have to be thin. You know, we don't have to have a program that plays perfectly. And this is how we create through formation in January, winter, and spring, is, you know, create a program, create a team here that can go play free and realize we can play through our mistakes and have a chance to still win. And so last season was important for us in terms of getting some of those breakthrough moments to realize, hey, this is something that we can do. I think this season has been about having the confidence to dominate, honestly, to have a dominant mindset when we take the field. And that's a tangible shift that we've had here from within. And I think this is day 265 for this team together. So that shift has happened over those 265 days where we've built trust and built connection and built vision towards what we want. And you know, we need that confidence to show up for us on Saturday. But you know, at the end of the day, we're going to play this game. We're going to play our best football, and come what may. And it's just, you know, this is the teeth of the schedule, and we have all our long-term goals within reach, and we just got to keep trying to play that optimal game that allows us to have results.
We'll go Chris Harris, then Arya.
Coach, from what you've seen on film, how much better is this Alabama team than the one you guys faced a year ago? And then also, how much better do you believe this Vanderbilt team is than the one that won this game a year ago?
But both sides are better. Both sides are better. I think for Kalen and his group, that, you know, their second year, it's you can see the identity of the program taking shape. Like I said, I think there's, you know, the offense resembles that group that they took to the championship game at Washington. It's got that kind of feel to it. They're throwing the ball really well. I think they have a creative run game. You can see the influence of the coordinator in that, and they present challenges. Sometimes these teams, it reminds you a little bit of the 2020 Alabama team we defended in the playoffs, because, you know, they have the talent to where they could just line up and probably play traditional football, but they make it hard with shifts and motions and formations and all that kind of stuff. So I got a ton of respect for how they operate. You know, the quarterback makes it go. I think he's developed chemistry in the system. He's a coach's son, you know, and he seems to have, again, grown comfortable, and also kind of grown in leadership too. So yeah, they're gonna be challenging, and then, you know, on our side, we feel like we're better. I mean, we're operating at a high level offensively. I think we're playing complementary style defensively. We've been very disruptive on defense. The havoc rate has been really high. We're among the nation's best in third down average distance, but, you know, we haven't finished on third down like we need to. We're better than we were a year ago, but there's, you know, an appetite for a little more consistency there, and that'll be what the game comes down to. So it's two good teams. Obviously, all the respect that they're getting, they deserve. I mean, that's a really, really well coached and good team. They're solid throughout, and we feel the same way about our outfit, and we're going to take our group down there and hope to play our best.
Arya.
You know, obviously the win last year kind of put you all on a map in a way nationally. How has that impacted your team, you know, whether it's things like attendance, marketing, you know, the kind of exposure that you've gotten that you didn't get beforehand?
Well, I think you create excitement when you play well. I mean, everybody loves a winner, you know. I mean, everybody gets excited about winning football. I think people are a little more skeptical of this program, just because there's just been there's been apathy throughout, right? And that's not inspirational to people to show up or to pay attention. But we've been really intentional about kind of being all in, kind of heart forward, bleeding out into the program, establishing connection and relationship. We say relatedness is our edge, caring about one another, caring about what we're part of. And that has sent a ripple out that has both created results, but also created attention. And my belief is it was inevitable. It just, those things take time. So I don't point to any one game a year ago. I just think we had to fight through it a year ago to really kind of discover the rhythm and the confidence. And once we did that, we were able to find some results, which then gave way to some external energy. And that's the way the world works.
We'll go Henry, and last question to Joey.
Yeah, obviously Alabama's receiving core is proving to be very solid this year with Ryan Williams, Isaiah Horton, Jeremy Bernard, a lot of those guys. How do you defend against a team that's got a ton of offensive weapons in Alabama, I guess?
Well, they're challenging. I think they have the opportunity to break the game open. They're playing so differently, I feel like, than they did. Just the identity of the offense is different. So you see these guys on sails and digs and, at times cut loose on verticals, but they're running clean routes and the quarterback's delivering the ball on time. They're fast, so that dig line moves. Typically, you expect that dig line to be kind of 12 to 14 yards. This group is like 16 to 18 yards. They just eat up the space that fast. And so, depth and zone coverage, making sure that we're occupying that line, trying to deny the throws into those windows, because again, that's where, if you're not challenging those routes top down and they're caught in space and they can run out on you. On the flip side of that, if everyone just goes turning and running on the snap to get, to the depth they need to get to, well, this team has proven that they're going to throw the slow screens and find ways to get the ball out and underneath, and they create problems that way too. So it's a balance. We feel like our system sets up to kind of help spread the hard down around and to do some things to try to make it challenging. But you can't, against this group, identify one player and say we need to take that guy away. There's just they have too many weapons. So we need to play 11 connected. We need to be on the same page. The thing I can be sure of is if we're supposed to have a middle close defense and no one's playing the post, they're going to hit a post for a touchdown. If we're in a zone defense and we don't have the dig line occupied, they're going to catch and run out into space, and they can run past you then. If you don't vice the ball down and play with proper leverage and angle, they're going to run out on you. So what I try to impart on our guys is understand what makes them good, but the focus is on how we play. And this isn't a game where you're trying to create tricky answers to simple questions. The simple questions are, they have speed, they have skill, here are their concepts, how are we playing top down and outside in to make sure we vice the ball, force them to line up and snap it, and eventually within a drive capitalize on a mistake. Again, if we don't cover the back and the flat, they're going to rip the back and the flat, and it's going to go for a long way. So we got to play with discipline and detail, focus on us. We say focus and execution. That's kind of the mantra.
We'll finish up with Joey.
I know you know the history with Vanderbilt and Tuscaloosa and how long it's been since you guys have won there.
I don't know that history.
Yeah,
So.
I don't know a whole lot of it. to change like things of the past like that though, how much of it is just believing that you can do it? Like you mentioned, this team doesn't have skepticism, like they all believe they can do it. How big of a deal is that when you go into a place you haven't won at for a while?
We just don't, usually that's me and Laura talking after the game and saying, hey, some of these have been like, whatever it was, 1918 when we scored 70 whatever points. And my response to that is like, what in the world were they doing in 1918 to be able to score that many points? Was that tempo offense and spread? My God. We don't pay a lot of attention to that. We're creating our own history here. That's how we see it. And that really is the spirit of this group. And even in the way this is Team 5, it's not because the history of this program isn't important. right? I'm a part of the history of this program, but it was an intentional, purposeful break to say what has happened before has no bearing on what is to come. And here we are 5 years in, and we've the kind of the methodical and investment over time, the painstaking, the suffering and sacrifice has given way to a program that feels solid and feels whole, and I think gives us a chance to again create the history we want to actually define this program.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, guys.